Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Mike Catalana, just checking in with you guys. It's been kind of a quiet time for the Bills. I think there's going to be some movement soon, and we're leading towards the NFL draft coming up in a few weeks. So, Bills with a lot of options and what they plan to do this year in the draft based on their needs and what they're looking for in the present and the future. I'm just going to talk here for a little bit. Dan and Jenna held down the fort while I was on vacation. I've been back for a little bit of time and just seeing how things play out. And I know a lot of you are focused on the old DeAndre Hopkins talk and the Bills and some news today among a couple of places where the thought around the league right now is that nobody wants to pick up that contract and nobody wants to meet whatever the asking price is from the Arizona Cardinals. And this is what happens a lot of times in the league. You'll look at a player. Hopkins is a good example. Very talented guy, been around, made some big plays in this league. Then the question is, wow, why wouldn't somebody give up X, Y, or Z for the player? And there's always the thought that, especially a wide receiver, is going to command more on the open market. And I don't think that's the case with Hopkins. Pretty obvious now. There's not a strong market for him. And the idea is nobody wants to pick up that contract. I think it's $34 million owed over the next couple of years. So you'd be giving up draft capital right before the draft, and then you'd be picking up a player who's going to put a dent in your salary cap, and you'd probably have to rework that deal. It would probably cost you more money up front to rework a contract. So there's a lot of thought around the league that at some point he's going to be released. And if that's the case, then he hits the open market. He can sign anywhere, and teams will have an opportunity to sign him to a deal that makes sense for them. At that point, certainly he has the right to go wherever he wants once he's cut. And, that's interesting because he did have a no trade clause in his contract. He gave that up when he was found to be guilty of using performance enhancing drugs. And as part of the collective bargaining agreement with players, once that happens, the no trade clauses are null and void, and the team could deal him. So Hopkins could be traded anywhere. But let's be honest, no team's going to trade for Hopkins unless they believe he's going to be willing to rework his contract anyhow. So I still think if there was a team interested at the right price, maybe they make that deal. Does he make sense for the Bills? He's a talent. I'd love to see Josh Allen have another high-end talent for him on the offensive side of the ball. Absolutely would. Would I rather see the Bills be able to draft a player that can step right in, be on a rookie deal, and be that impactful? Sure. But to predict any player, even though guys have come into this league ready to play, but to be able to predict any player is going to step in and be that kind of guy next to Stephon Diggs, I think is asking for a lot. So the thought is, would the Bills be looking to use a high draft pick if they don't go after Hopkins? Would they be looking in the first round or second round again to try to find offensive help for him? I don't know. I will tell you this. For a game, for a moment, maybe even for this year, a guy with Hopkins' ability certainly helps the Bills. And I get it. You're frustrated. You should be frustrated with the way last year ended. Should be frustrated in what happened with Gabe Davis last year, where he did not ascend in the way they were hoping for. So I get the idea of wanting Hopkins, but it's got to be at the right price that works for this team. And Hopkins has got to be ready to go. He's had a really unique career in this league. I mean, Houston got a lot of criticism when they basically gave him away to the Cardinals. It has not been great. He's put up numbers with the Cardinals. I do not love their quarterback. He's put up some numbers with the Cardinals, and now they're looking to move on from him again. So I would say this. I think the Bills, like the rest of the team, everybody playing a little game of chicken with the Cardinals, waiting for him to be released. I believe the Bills will be in on that. I think they will look into it, but I don't think they're going to break the bank for him. I just have this feeling you're already paying Diggs, and you're going to look for the guy on the rookie deal next. That's just my guess. By the time I'm done recording this, who knows? They could make a deal with Hopkins, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Odell Beckham now, the latest report, I guess the initial thought a while ago was he wanted $20 million. Now the latest report says he wants $15 million. I don't think there's a big market for OBJ. I really don't. and you could get him right now. He is free. He's coming off that knee injury. I don't think he's getting that kind of money. And I think he's waiting it out to see if somebody's going to bite on it. Again, do you want Odell Beckham Jr.? Honestly, I think Hopkins is a better player. I think he gets you something differently than OBJ. I think Beckham certainly can help a team, but I would not be out there giving him $15+ million. I don't know if he's going to be that player anymore. So in terms of both of these guys on the open market, I think Hopkins helps the Bills more, but I think Beane's going to sit back and wait to see what kind of numbers it would be. But it does seem to be leaning towards nobody's going to be trading for him, that he's going to be cut, and teams are going to free up cap space. And you say, man, how can they get nothing for him? It's based on the contract, folks. It's based on the amount of money that is out there on that deal. And if you trade for him, you're picking up that deal, and you've got to rework it, and you got to go under those parameters in terms of reworking the deal. If he's released, you can sign him to a new deal. Whatever guaranteed money is left gets paid by the Cardinals. Whatever guaranteed money was on the salary cap fits on their cap, and then it goes forward from that point for the Bills or any other team that brings him in. There is part of me that says, man, Diggs and Hopkins is a pretty good pair, and you'd like that, but you know the reality of the NFL. It's not just fantasy football here where you just pick up guys and move on. There is a bunch of stuff that goes with it. So let's see what they end up doing. The rest of it has been pretty quiet. If you look at this offseason for the Bills, their biggest move, no doubt in my mind, was re-signing Jordan Poyer and bringing him back. That was unexpected. And the whole idea of Tremaine Edmonds moving on, they bring back Tyrell Dodson. They're going to hope that they can get help internally. But I think they're going to be in the market for a linebacker too. But I just look at the moves Brandon Beane has made, and it's, he said, and we said this on the Buffalo Plus podcast, that I thought it was going to be a quiet free agency for the Bills, and it has been. That does not surprise me. And this is still a highly competitive team with a ton of talent that had a ton of injuries last year. So bring those guys back. Yes, you lose some. Certainly, you lost that with Tremaine Edmonds, but, they drafted high on a corner last year. They brought both of the safeties back this year. Maybe they do pick up a linebacker. They're basically bringing the band back as far as the defensive line is concerned. So I think they're looking that can be a really important part of what they do going forward. So all that being said, I think it's been quiet, and it's understandable why it's quiet, but it's going to ramp up in the next few weeks. And then keep something else in mind. Once the draft comes, guys are going to get cut. That June 1st date is looming out there where teams can spread that cap hit. So when you're looking for other players, you're looking for other help. That could be wide receivers too. That's a point. When a team goes high in the draft and brings in a wide receiver, they're looking to move on from veterans, not just their linebackers too, which is certainly a position of need for this team as we look forward. So like I said, hang in there. I know it's been quiet. This is sort of a bit of a dead time when everybody's made their major moves in free agency, but things are going to start breaking before the draft, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about what the Bills are going to be doing when they get set for the draft, because they've got a lot of options there, but they have some holes to fill too. All right, that's going to do it for me. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. For our team, Dan and Jenna, I'm Mike Catalana. Thanks for watching here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel.